Hello friends, this video on Matter and Magnetism Part 23 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till Part 22 before going ahead with Part 23. So now let us try to solve a problem based on Ampere's law. So it says that the figure shows a long straight wire of a circular cross section carrying steady current I. So that means the current flowing through this wire is I. The current I is uniformly distributed across this cross section. So this is the cross section of the wire. If you see, this is the center and the radius of the cross section is A. Calculate the magnetic field in the region R less than A and R greater than A. That means you have to calculate the magnetic field inside this region as well as outside this region. So here you see that there are two Amperian loops which are drawn. The imaginary lines or the dotted lines are nothing but Amperian loops. So in the first case, first let us try to calculate for R greater than A, that means outside. So let us consider this loop. So we consider Amperian loop of radius R2. So for this loop, the Ampere's law should hold true, Ampere's circuital law should hold true. So according to Ampere's circuital law, integration of B dot dl should be equal to mu naught I. So in this case, for this particular loop of radius R2, what is the current enclosed by this loop? The current enclosed will be I, because this loop is a bigger loop. So inside this, the entire long straight wire is coming. So current enclosed by this will be I. And what would be integration of dl? Integration of dl would be from 0 to 2 pi R2. So this is equal to mu naught I. So what would be the magnetic field? This will be equal to 2 pi R2 is equal to mu naught I. Or we can say magnetic field B is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi R2. So we can say that B is proportional to 1 by R2. So this is your answer for R greater than A. Now let us consider the scenario for R less than A. So for R less than A, let us consider an Amperian loop of radius R1. Let us suppose this is the loop of radius R1. So for this loop, we will again apply the Ampere's circuital law. So for this loop, it is integration of B dot dl is equal to mu naught I. Now what will be the current enclosed by this smaller loop? The current enclosed by this loop will be less than the current I, because this current I is flowing through this entire wire, but this loop is smaller than that part. So that means it will enclose lesser current than this. So let us suppose it encloses current I1. So this I1 will be less than I. That is very obvious, right? So what will happen now? What will be the value of this I1? We have to calculate that. Now this B will be equal to integration of dl from 0 to 2 pi R1 is equal to mu naught I1. So from this we can say that B is equal to mu naught I1 divided by 2 pi R1. So we will get the value of B if we are able to calculate the value of I1. So how will we calculate I1? Since the question tells that the current I is uniformly distributed across the cross section. That means the current I is equally distributed everywhere. So we can say that the current density is constant for the inner circle of radius R1 and the circle with radius A. Since current distribution is uniform, therefore we can say that current density is same for loop with R1 radius and loop with A radius, right? So for these two loops, the current density should be same. So what is the current density? Current density is current per unit area. So for the loop with radius A, the current density would be current per unit pi A square. And for the loop with radius I1, and we assume that the current enclosed is I1. So this will be I1 by pi R1 square, right? So from this we can say I1 is equal to I by pi A square into pi R1 square. So pi will get cancelled. So this will be I R1 square divided by A square. So now we put this value of I1. So put this I1 in equation 1. So which was equation 1? This was equation 1, right? So what is your B? So B becomes equal to mu naught by 2 pi R1 into I1. So instead of I1, I put it as I R1 square divided by A square. So this R1 and this gets cancelled. So we get this is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi A square into R1. So B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi A square into R1. That means B in this case is proportional to R1. So did you notice the difference? For any region outside the cross-sectional area, magnetic field was proportional to 1 by R. But inside this, the magnetic field is directly proportional to R. So if you plot a graph like this, let us say if this y-axis represents the value of magnetic field and x-axis represents the value of R, let us suppose this point represents R is equal to A. So for values of R less than A, B is directly proportional to R. That means you will get an increasing graph because B is increasing with R. In this portion, B is directly proportional to R. But once it becomes equal to RA, beyond that it is inversely proportional to R. So beyond this, it is inversely proportional to R. So this is an important conclusion which you obtain from here. So you observe that how it becomes easier to calculate the value of magnetic field by considering Amperian loops, right? So I hope you understood the approach and you also understood what is Ampere's circuital law. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.